Mackenzie Cowell was a 17-year-old student and aspiring model from Washington who was murdered in February of 2010. She vanished after leaving her beauty school in Wenatchee, and her body was found 4 days later along the Columbia River. A fellow cosmetology student who left the school shortly after Mackenzie on the day she vanished emerged as a prime suspect. Who killed Mackenzie Cowell? You're listening to Lurking in the Shadows. Okay.
All right.
Welcome back, Shadows.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. Here we are, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes, and hopefully that just continues, and there's no more interruptions.
Yes. Other than the remote thing, that'll change again soon. But
yeah, that'll change. Yeah, the location will.
Yeah, but otherwise, back to our weekly posting. And today is you taking us all the way to the West Coast.
Yeah, I don't know if we've done one out of Washington yet.
I know we've definitely done like news and maybe a true crime and a dime.
Maybe, but yeah, I don't think a full case yet.
But I don't think a full case. Because remember we covered that one guy who killed his 2 kids and was in the woods?
Oh, yeah, and was on the run, yeah.
Yeah, that was Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know about any other Washington state. I feel like I've definitely probably referenced Washington state in some of my cases.
Maybe there's a lot of cases that come out of Washington, I feel like.
Yeah, out in the West, because sometimes those killers, just bounce around.
Yep.
All right.
Well, if my voice sounds different, we are recording early in the morning, so I have my morning voice right now.
And I'm just enjoying coffee. So.
All right, so Mackenzie Cowell was born on April 1st, 1992. She was the youngest of 3 children born to Reed and Wendy Cowell. Didn't we recently cover a story where someone's birthday was also April 1st?
I feel like we did.
Yeah,
because I think I made an April Fool's joke or something. Yeah.
When Mackenzie was 7 years old, her parents went through a highly contentious and volatile divorce that initially included restraining orders against one another. Despite the rocky separation, her parents maintained shared custody. Mackenzie spent her childhood split between her mother's home and her father's residence in Orondo, Washington. Both parents eventually moved on to new partners. While she reportedly had a strained relationship with her mother's new partner, she remained deeply loving and protective of her family unit as a whole. Her father's fiancée, Sandy Francis, remembered her as central to their close-knit household. So it sounds like she got along a lot better with her stepmom as opposed to her stepdad.
Yeah.
Mackenzie grew up with a pronounced underbite, which made her a target for intense teasing and bullying throughout her early school years.
Yeah, because kids fucking suck, man.
They do. Like, that's not something somebody can control. Like,
yeah.
You're going to bully them for it? Those close to her, including her local reverend, noted that the childhood teasing ultimately made her stronger, driving her to build immense self-confidence and determination as she grew older. Mackenzie pursued modeling as part of her journey to build self-confidence, and after facing the intense childhood bullying, she had planned to undergo surgery to correct the underbite after graduating high school, but sadly that would never happen. From an early age, Mackenzie loved to dance with her family, joking that she would spontaneously burst into dance in grocery stores and gas stations. She trained at 2 external dance studios and was a proud member of the Applettes dance team at Wenatchee High School, which is the high school she would also attend.
I wish I could dance.
Yeah, me too. I did a little dance when I did baton, but now, no.
I never did anything, and yeah, this white girl can't dance.
No, me either. I'm too long and lanky to dance.
I'm built like T-Rex. I can't.
As Mackenzie reached high school, her deep interest in fashion, styling, makeup, and clothes naturally drew her toward local runway and print opportunities. Mackenzie frequently modeled clothing and outfits for independent clothing stores and local boutiques in downtown Wenatchee to showcase upcoming seasonal trends. She participated in localized photo shoot sessions to build up a personal modeling portfolio. Yeah. These photos were often shared on early social media networks and used to market her personal brand within her school and community. So I think that's really cool that she went from being bullied for her underbite to now she's a model.
Yeah, fuck them.
I don't know if I would have had that confidence.
No, I wouldn't have.
she's, handing it to him on a silver platter.
That's right.
Mackenzie was described by friends as a bright, happy, girly girl who loved makeup and styling. Mackenzie was also a dedicated athlete who regularly frequented the gym. Mackenzie's family noted that her love for local modeling directly inspired her decision to enroll in the Wenatchee Academy of Hair Design. She viewed hair and makeup artistry as a natural extension of the fashion world she wanted to build a career in. By 2010, Mackenzie maintained a grueling 12-hour daily schedule. Her days began before 6 a.m. and were split between traditional high school classes, dance team practices, local modeling gigs, and extra credit cosmetology courses at the Wenatchee Academy of Hair Design. All that while she is still in high school.
Yeah, good for her.
Mm-hmm. At the time of her death, she had been dating her boyfriend, Joaquin Villasano, for about 7 months. Their relationship was described by friends and family as deeply loving, supportive, and inseparable. Mackenzie and Joaquin spent nearly all their free time together. On the day she disappeared, they had been exchanging affectionate text messages right up until she left her beauty school building. Joaquin was highly supportive of Mackenzie's intense 12-hour daily schedule. They were serious about their future together. Mackenzie was actively saving money from her various jobs, and the couple had discussed moving to a larger city after graduation so she could fully pursue her career in the beauty and fashion industry. Because they were so close, Joaquin was one of the first people to realize something was terribly wrong when Mackenzie uncharacteristically stopped responding to his text messages on the afternoon of February 9th, 2010. So on February 9th, 2010, Mackenzie Cowell followed her usual highly disciplined daily routine of high school classes and beauty school. Mackenzie left her home around 7:15 a.m. and drove her red Pontiac Grand Prix sedan to her regular high school morning classes. After finishing high school for the day at 12 p.m., she drove to downtown Wenatchee to attend afternoon classes at the Wenatchee Academy of Hair Design. Mackenzie had a planned break at 3 p.m. and approached a classmate to ask if she needed to sign out if she was only going to be gone for 15 minutes. Classmates assumed she was going to get coffee at Aldo Mocha, which is a local drive-through coffee stand that she visited multiple times a week. External security captured Mackenzie walking calmly across the parking lot with her purse, getting into her red car, and driving away. This was the last time she was seen alive. Mackenzie was scheduled to be home to cook teriyaki burgers for dinner with her father, Reed. When she failed to arrive by 5 p.m., her father began calling her cell phone, which went straight to voicemail. While Mackenzie's family and friends are starting to panic due to not being able to get a hold of her, a local property owner 40 miles away in Pitcher Canyon noticed a red Pontiac Grand Prix abandoned near his driveway around 8 p.m. He called I don't know if it's Shellen or Chellen, I think I'm going to say Shellen. He called the Shellen County Sheriff's Office to report the suspicious vehicle. Deputies ran the vehicle's license plates and traced its registration directly to Reed Cowell's home. When officers contacted Reed regarding the abandoned car, he immediately informed the officer that no one had been able to get in touch with his daughter Mackenzie for a few hours, and she was supposed to be driving that car. Following this phone call, the Shellen County Sheriff's Office and the Wenatchee Police Department immediately upgraded the incident from a routine towed vehicle call to an active urgent missing persons investigation. Mackenzie's handbag was left sitting inside the vehicle, as well as her athletic gear and bag for dance practice. Spare clothes that she used to balance her busy school, beauty academy, and dance schedule were still inside too. Her cell phone, bank card, and keys were missing, and the car was locked. Outside the vehicle. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like to me, because I was going to say, when you were going over everything inside, they didn't find no coffee. And she's a coffee girly. And if that was her intention, she obviously did not even make it to the coffee shop.
Nope. Outside the vehicle, the crime scene technicians documented exactly one set of footprints stamped in the snow. The tracks led directly away from the parked vehicle and headed back to the main road into Wenatchee. This strongly signaled to detectives that someone had deliberately staged and locked the vehicle to mislead search efforts. From February 10th to the 12th of 2010, local law enforcement tracked her last known steps. Volunteer search parties combed the surrounding valleys. Family, friends, and community volunteers had been relentlessly canvassing local neighborhoods and holding out hope that the fit, resourceful 17-year-old would find her way home safely. More than 200 people gathered in downtown Wenatchee for an emotional candlelight vigil to support the Cowell family. From March through April of 2010, police began conducting interviews and collecting witness statements. They spoke to over 800 people.
Jeez, okay. Well, they're putting in work.
They are. The most critical eyewitness sighting occurred on the afternoon of February 9, 2010, along Pitcher Canyon Road, the remote rural area where Mackenzie's red car was abandoned. 3 separate local residents reported seeing a thin man with dark hair, wearing a dark coat, walking down the road away from where the car was parked. Witnesses noted the sighting was highly unusual, as people rarely walked along that isolated, snow-dusted country road in the dead of winter miles from town. The man was spotted walking toward Wenatchee between 4:30 and 5:30 p.m., aligning perfectly with the estimated timeline of the suspected kidnapper staging Mackenzie's locked vehicle. Police also checked cell tower data, which verified that her phone was actively sending and receiving transmissions within a tight geographical boundary. A Verizon wireless technician noted that while the signals heavily favored the Burke Hill apartments, they could mathematically line up with the nearby Orondo Street boat launch as well. At 3:02 p.m., her phone rapidly dialed a residential landline in East Wenatchee. She rapidly dialed the unknown number 5 more times in less than 1 minute. The calls never connected beyond a generic answering machine. So she left the school at 3 p.m. At 3:02, she has this, rapidly dials this unknown number 6 times.
But also, she rapidly dials the same number. It's not like she's randomly calling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like she's rapidly dialing the same number over and over again.
Which is really weird.
That is. Do we know anything about where that number leads?
Yes, we'll get into that.
Okay.
Mackenzie's phone sent its last outgoing piece of data, a brief text message to her boyfriend Joaquin Villasano saying, "Hey," at 3:26 p.m. Her phone received a single-word reply, "Hey," from Joaquin at 3:42 p.m. This text delivery marked the final confirmed instance of the device successfully interacting with the network infrastructure. Investigators cleared the family living at the residence Mackenzie dialed. They were all at work at the time. They had no ties to Mackenzie and they did not know her. Detectives heavily debated whether this was a frantic attempt by Mackenzie to dial for help or a series of accidental butt dials as she was being overpowered. Or I also think that maybe in this scenario where if she is being overpowered, maybe like as the guy's trying to like pull the phone out of her hands. Because once you call a number, you can like hit it and it can call again. You don't necessarily have to retype it, the whole thing. So maybe as he's trying to pull a phone out of her hands, he's like accidentally clicking on that, or she is. And that's maybe how it also could have got dialed so many times.
Well, I was thinking, what if her attacker is dialing this number?
Yeah, they didn't say anything about that in any of my research, but yeah, you never know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, I was thinking, like, what if someone's like, "Hey, can I borrow your phone? Can I?" And they're dialing. That's why I was wondering, like, could they connect this house and these people to who we suspect the killer could be?
No, they never say that it's connected to this person.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of a weird situation within this case.
Yeah, because 5 times is, like, to me, that's significant. Like, that something was going on. None of us sit here and dial the same number 5 times over, like, accidentally.
Her cell phone registered one final network ping at 5:42 p.m. Chelan County Sheriff's investigators determined that this automated signal was transmitted precisely when the phone was shut off or its battery died. Because the phone stopped communicating with nearby cell towers by 5:42 p.m., it could not be tracked digitally to the remote canyon where her car was staged. The physical cell phone itself was also never recovered, even today. Those closest to Mackenzie, including her boyfriend Joaquin Villasano and her mother's boyfriend, were extensively investigated and cleared through verified alibis. On February 13th, just 4 days after she disappeared, a beach walker discovered Mackenzie's fully clothed body along the banks of the Columbia River at Crescent Bar, about 20 miles south of Wenatchee.
Mm.
The autopsy confirmed Mackenzie died the afternoon of her disappearance between 3:30 and 4:30 p.m. She suffered strangulation, blunt force trauma, and stab wounds with a knife left embedded in her shoulder.
Oof.
The killer had also attempted to dismember one of her arms.
Jesus.
Yeah. When regional law enforcement confirmed her death was a homicide, a wave of profound grief hit the Wenatchee Valley. The brutal forensic details, so the strangulation, blunt force trauma, and a knife left at the scene, deeply disturbed local residents and left the entire town reeling. Residents realized a highly dangerous perpetrator was operating freely in their geographic area. Rumors and fears swept through local schools and neighborhoods during the investigation. Rather than retreating entirely out of fear, the community channeled their anxiety into action. Along with Mackenzie's parents, the Wenatchee community publicly vowed to track down her killer, actively generating over 100 heavily publicized investigative tips in the months immediately following the discovery. Local organizations quickly stepped up to honor her memory. The owners of the Wenatchee Wild professional hockey team covered the expenses for a massive public memorial service held at the local town Toyota Center Arena. The hockey team also wore special memorial stickers on their helmets for the remainder of the games. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
For everyone to step up like that.
Yeah.
The Mackenzie Cowell Task Force was formed after the discovery of her body, consisting of the collaborative effort of the FBI, Homeland Security, the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab, and local sheriff and police departments. It marked the largest multi-agency investigation handled in the Wenatchee Valley region since an attempted serial bombing case in 1997.
Oh.
Around May of 2010, a major distraction in the case came from a prison informant named Liz Reed, whose detailed claims sent the multi-agency task force down a months-long rabbit hole. Reed claimed she witnessed a snuff film video showing 2 local drug dealers murdering Mackenzie and a case of mistaken identity. Because she correctly described a ring and the murder weapon before details were public, police took her seriously. However, after months of tracking the accused men and finding zero supporting evidence, Reed admitted she fabricated the video claim and the lead collapsed.
Oh my God. Okay.
Why do people do this? Why are you wasting police's time in an active murder investigation because you want to tell some fabricated story?
Yeah. What did you get out of this? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't going to get you out of jail because the story was fake. So
yeah.
Instead, it's probably going to get you more time.
Yeah, and they're not going to fucking trust you worth a damn. Just sit there and do your damn time.
Yeah, sit there and shut up.
Yeah.
Investigators recovered a piece of duct tape near Mackenzie's body at Crescent Bar. Forensic testing revealed it was stained with Mackenzie Cowell's blood, and further testing extracted a potential paternal male profile YSTR DNA sample. And if you want more information on DNA testing, check out episode 47, which was our 1-year anniversary episode where we talk all about DNA and DNA testing.
Yes.
The Mackenzie Cowell Homicide Task Force received multiple tips pointing to Christopher Scott Wilson, a 29-year-old fellow classmate at the beauty school. Informants notified detectives that Wilson harbored a severe dark obsession with serial killers, corpses, and the television show Dexter. A classmate came forward stating Wilson bragged about previously working at a funeral home, specifically because he, quote, liked to cut people up, end quote.
That's creepy.
Mm-hmm. So after reading this, I was thinking, why is this 29-year-old male attending beauty school? Not that it has anything to do with him being male, because, there's plenty of talented male makeup and hair artists, but, this guy You gotta look him up. He does not look like someone that would be even remotely interested in beauty.
What if he had to take some classes to be part of a funeral home? To be like a...
Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because, I mean, I was a little bit right that he wasn't exactly interested in the beauty aspect, but I read that he attended the beauty school primarily to follow his mother's career footsteps after she purchased a local hair salon. Wilson had spent his 20s drifting between casual jobs. He frequently told people he still didn't know what he wanted to be when he grew up, even at the age of almost 30, and was dreaming instead of being a guitarist in a rock band.
You know, I can't, even though he might be a bad guy, I can't judge the I don't know what I want to do when I want to grow up, because I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So, so I can't really, like, that doesn't scream serial killer. But
no, not that part alone, no. But wanting to cut people up, yes.
That one I can't say that I would say that, you know, so.
Mm-hmm. He struggled heavily to maintain steady employment and rarely kept any job for a long period of time. Prior to enrolling, he had briefly worked at funeral homes but was fired. When his mother bought a hair salon in Wenatchee, it provided him a concrete career opportunity to just work for her. Wilson decided to attend the Wenatchee Academy of Hair Design to get licensed so he could eventually work at his mom's shop. While he used his mother's salon business as a practical reason to enroll, investigators later believed his underlying macabre fixation on styling corpses and his obsession with anatomy played a darker psychological role in his choice of career.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. With Wilson now on their radar, investigators reviewed the exterior security footage from the Beauty Academy from February 9th. The cameras documented Mackenzie driving out of the lot at exactly 3:01 p.m. To the detective's surprise, the footage showed Wilson slipping out of the back exit, getting into his own car, and driving away just 72 seconds directly behind her.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In September of 2010, the task force executed a sweep asking students at the academy for voluntary DNA swabs. Wilson complied, providing the final piece of the puzzle. The Washington State Patrol Crime Lab ran his profile against evidence collected at the riverbank. His YSTR DNA was a match for the genetic material lifted off the bloody duct tape found near Mackenzie's body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Forensic analysis of the same piece of duct tape also discovered genetic material belonging to at least one other unidentified male besides Christopher Wilson. On October 6, 2010, police executed a search warrant at his downtown studio apartment at Burke Hills Apartments. Wilson had transitioned to staying in a basement studio apartment beneath Salon Couture, the salon business owned by his mother, at this time. So he wasn't actually staying in that other apartment anymore. He was staying in the one under his mom's salon. However, investigators tracked his primary residence at the time of the February homicide back to the Burke Hill unit. So that's where they searched first. And if you remember earlier, I mentioned the last ping of her cell phone was mapped to a geographical sector inside or immediately adjacent to the Burke Hill apartments, right around the time she vanished.
Okay, yes.
And that's where his apartment was at that time.
Yeah. Okay.
A search of Wilson's former studio apartment revealed a large stain in the living area that was invisible to the naked eye. Using luminol, they discovered a massive hidden pool of Mackenzie's blood soaked deep into his carpet fibers down to the concrete floor.
Oh my God.
The Washington State Patrol Crime Lab verified this blood contained Mackenzie's exact DNA profile. Investigators also uncovered trace blood spatter and smears matching Mackenzie in the stairwell of the basement apartment below the salon. So her blood was in both apartments.
Jeez.
Faced with the undeniable match of Mackenzie's blood inside his personal living space, the task force arrested Wilson that evening, officially solving the 8-month mystery. When Christopher Wilson was arrested on October 6, 2010, the beauty school campus experienced overwhelming shock. Students recalled that Wilson, who was visibly eccentric, wore dark eyeliner, and had a Hannibal Lecter tattoo, had continued to attend cosmetology classes, style hair, and interact normally with everyone for nearly 7 months after brutally murdering Mackenzie.
Yeah, just living his little life.
Yep. The realization that a violent predator had been sitting next to them in class every day since the homicide deeply traumatized the school community. Understandably.
Yeah.
When investigators questioned Wilson's mom, Linda, about her son's alarming behavior and disturbing statements reported by classmates, she steadfastly defended him. She insisted to investigators and media outlets that Christopher was just an eccentric, artistic individual. She argued publicly that, quote, being different did not make you a bad person, end quote, and that his alternative look and dark interests were misunderstood.
Bitch, that's not what we're saying he did wrong here, not his looks.
Right? Yeah, we're saying he murdered someone, bitch.
Yeah. I don't care about his. I don't even know what this man looks like. I haven't even looked. I don't care what he looks like. That's not what I'm judging right now.
Yeah, nope. We're judging his actions.
Yeah.
Even after the task force uncovered trace blood spatter and smears matching Mackenzie in that exact basement stairwell under her salon, Linda maintained her son's innocence.
Of course.
So she's delusional. I had also mentioned earlier that a knife was found left embedded in Mackenzie's body. Forensic sweeps of the knife handle surprisingly did not find Christopher Wilson's DNA or fingerprints. Instead, the lab identified DNA belonging to two investigators, a local sheriff's deputy and a state patrol fingerprint analyst, indicating accidental field or lab contamination. Extensive fingerprint dusting and forensic swabbing of Mackenzie's red Pontiac Grand Prix also yielded no matches to Christopher Wilson. The steering wheel, handles, and interior surfaces were clear of his physical identifiers. Scrapings taken from under Mackenzie's fingernails during her autopsy failed to yield any DNA matching Wilson as well, suggesting she was unable to scratch her attacker during the assault. And all of this is something his attorney will bring up later. When investigators pulled Wilson's cellular data, they discovered heavy, highly suspicious communication between Wilson and a female named Tessa Schulman on February 9, 2010, the exact afternoon Mackenzie disappeared. The pair texted multiple times between 3 o'clock and 3:33 p.m., directly overlapping with the time frame Mackenzie was being intercepted. Wilson placed 5 consecutive phone calls to Schulman between 4 p.m. and 5:03 p.m. Immediately following those frantic calls, both of their phones went completely silent for over 5 hours, signaling to the task force they may have been together.
Yeah.
Upon executing a search warrant on Wilson's devices, detectives stumbled across a collection of deeply unsettling photos starring Schulman. The images depicted her posing as a corpse, lying motionless on the exact spot of the studio apartment floor where Mackenzie's blood had seeped into the carpet.
Wow.
And they're just doing some weird, creepy photo shoot right there.
Wow. Yeah, that's disgusting.
While Schulman claimed she was just following Wilson's instructions for an artistic photo shoot and knew nothing about the homicide, it proved she was frequently inside the active crime scene. A subsequent search of Schulman's own cell phone revealed 2 videos recorded months after the murder in June of 2010 that shattered her claims of innocence. The footage showed Schulman walking through Wilson's apartment, explicitly sliding a coffee table out of the way to zoom in directly on the dried bloodstain left by Mackenzie.
Wow.
Yeah. In the background audio of the recording, Wilson could be audibly heard asking Schulman if she thought the apartment was completely clean. So based on this digital...
Don't tell me you knew nothing, bitch. Don't tell me you knew nothing, bitch.
You're zooming in on a blood stain. Like, get out of here.
Like, yeah, and that context of questioning, fuck off.
Mm-hmm. I am going to warn everyone now that the ending of this case is frustrating. So. Based on the digital trail, police searched Schulman's personal vehicle and uncovered further alarming circumstantial evidence. Technicians found unexplained bloodstains, heavy-duty black plastic bags matching the type found near Mackenzie's body's dump site, and 2 personal letters penned by Wilson. Crime scene techs collected a cigarette butt near the body dump site after Mackenzie was found, and it contained an unidentified female's DNA. Because Tessa Schuleman was a heavy smoker suspected of helping move the body, investigators extensively tested her DNA but could not definitively match her to the scene. So this massive accumulation of evidence led to her arrest in December of 2010 on suspicion of first-degree rendering, criminal assistance, and obstructing a public officer. Despite strong task force suspicions that she helped transport the body to Crescent Bar, she was never formally convicted of the cover-up due to evidentiary limitations.
Wow.
So she was convicted of nothing in this case.
Yeah, she got nothing. I knew that she was there was nothing. I knew it.
Which is very frustrating because she clearly knew about it and was involved in some way.
Something. She knew fucking something.
The first-degree murder trial of Christopher Scott Wilson began jury selection in May 2012 at the Chelan County Courthouse in Wenatchee, Washington. However, a full trial never concluded. After jury selection was underway, Wilson abruptly accepted a plea deal. Led by high-profile Seattle defense attorney John Henry Brown, the defense had aggressively built a strategy centered on creating reasonable doubt. Their main arguments concluded the task force had planted forensic evidence. Brown argued that a desperate multi-agency task force had failed to find the real killer for months and chose to frame Wilson. Specifically, the defense alleged that investigators harvested DNA and traced blood and deliberately placed it in Wilson's apartment.
Oh.
I'm sorry, a task force does not have time to be doing all that.
No, get the hell out of here.
Get out of here. That is the most pathetic defense strategy I've ever heard.
Well, because not only would they have to sit there and put the blood evidence there, but I don't know, that's a whole lot to go through to try and frame.
It was in 2 separate apartments.
Yeah, no, fuck off. They're not doing all that.
No. The defense also successfully petitioned the presiding judge to allow evidence pointing toward third-party suspects. They pointed back to the initial phases of the investigation, arguing that the true perpetrators were 2 local drug dealers who had been named by the initial prison informant. Brown aimed to show the jury that the police had abandoned a viable violent drug lead too quickly in order to focus on his eccentric client. No, there was no evidence to point to those men. That's why they didn't pursue it.
Exactly.
Lastly, Brown targeted the state's forensic flaws to challenge the integrity of the prosecution's case. He focused heavily on the accidental DNA contamination of the murder weapon by 2 state investigators, arguing that the state's crime lab was sloppy and unreliable. He also planned to leverage the unidentified male DNA profiles found on the bloody duct tape to argue that someone else was present at the crime scene. Before the plea deal, the defense actually won major pretrial motions that heavily restricted what the prosecution could show the jury. So these little things that they brought up did work because the judge suppressed several pieces of highly prejudicial character evidence, ruling that prosecutors could not mention Wilson's past termination from Era Funeral Homes, his physical Hannibal Lecter tattoo, or his online activity on DeviantArt and serial killer forums. But despite winning these significant evidentiary restrictions, Brown and Wilson ultimately abandoned the trial. Fearing he would not receive an impartial trial and facing a potential life sentence, Wilson pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter and first-degree robbery on May 23, 2012, bringing the trial to an abrupt close.
What a coward.
Scott, what'd you say?
What a coward.
Yes, absolutely. Christopher Scott Wilson was sentenced to exactly 14 years and 3 months, or 171 months in prison, and had also pleaded guilty to second-degree assault related to a prior separate choking incident involving another local woman who survived the attack. Alongside the active prison term, Chelan County Superior Court Judge John Bridges mandated strict post-release oversight. He would need to do 36 months of community custody. He was ordered to report directly to a state community custody parole officer for 3 consecutive years upon exiting a cell, and he was legally barred from ever contacting any member of the Cowell family for the remainder of his life. Because Washington state law allows incarcerated individuals to earn good time credits for behavioral compliance while inside, he did not serve the full 14 years behind bars.
Fuck off right now. Fuck off right now. Because I was already mad he only got 14 years. I didn't even get to make a comment on that. I was like 14 years? 14 years? I literally just covered the Stockholm Syndrome. He got 14 years for drug trafficking, but we don't get any more for murder?
Right. Because of the
What
fucking
is
plea
this?
deal. After spending roughly 11 and a half active years in state custody, Wilson was released as a free man from the Monroe Correctional Center on December 11, 2023.
Wow.
Living under active state probation until December 10th, 2026.
I was going to say, I was just going to say, he only then was sentenced to 3 more years of additional service for the choking. So we're coming up on that. He's almost scot-free, living absolutely.
And he's completely free after that.
Completely. Like, just to live his little life. And he fucking murdered somebody. He fucking stabbed somebody. This wasn't even an accidental, this wasn't even an accident. He fucking did that. And then lived 7 months free.
Mm-hmm.
How is this justice? How is this justice?
It is not. It is not. Her poor family.
Her poor family. That makes me sick. That's a spit in the face. 11 years.
He wouldn't be safe around me. He'd need to move out of state.
Yeah, you better put some distance, baby, because fuck, that's frustrating as hell.
Yeah. Prior to the investigation into Mackenzie Cowell's murder, Wilson had no prior criminal convictions.
Well, I'm sure he'll do it again. He only got 11 years. Why not, right? You got the rest of your fucking life to live. Fuck me.
According to investigators and prosecutors, Christopher Scott Wilson's motive was driven entirely by a dark, pathological fascination with death, dead bodies, and serial killers, but because Wilson had bypassed a full trial by accepting a plea deal, an official courtroom narrative detailing a personal dispute or true motive was never established. It's like, we don't truly know. Why did he pick her? Why did he kill her? Like, I don't even know if they were close, if they even interacted when they were in the beauty school together.
I definitely just think he capitalized on his psychopathic need to do something. I don't know why she was picked, but...
Right, I don't know.
That's sad.
And the other thing that also I didn't really... that confused me is, how did he intercept her when they were both in separate cars? Like, she drove away in her car, he drove away in his, following her.
Yeah.
But, like, what happened a minute later where she's frantically dialing this unknown number? Like, how did he intercept her when they're in separate vehicles, is what I didn't come across.
I do feel like they said they only found 1 set of boots, so I think he did something with her and went and dropped her car off.
Yeah. Yeah, he somehow got her back to his apartment, and that's where he killed her.
But that's where I think a second person's coming in this.
Yes. So I don't know how they intercepted her.
I don't know. That's scary.
Because we didn't go to trial, she
was just on the road, and then was taken. So that's scary.
Yeah, so I don't understand how all of it ended up the way it did.
Yeah. Well, you guys could let us know what you guys think.
Yeah. Or if anyone is familiar with this case, if you live in Washington and you know any other details, let us know.
Yeah, maybe some insider or again, just tell us what you think happened from the time that he just snatched her out of her car. Like, that's scary.
Right. Unless she did, I don't know how far away that coffee stand was. Maybe she did make it there and they intercepted her there somehow, but then you think there'd be witnesses, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, somehow he got her, and yeah, it's terrible.
And that's frustrating. Only 11 and a half years served.
11 and a half years for
makes me sick.
Premeditated murder.
Yeah. of a 17-year-old. She didn't
He
even
should
get
have
to live
lived in
her
prison.
life.
But because he was so afraid of that, he took a plea deal.
Yep, fucking coward.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Out
Fuck
there
you, Christopher.
living
Wherever
free.
you're
Yeah.
at in life, I hope it's miserable.
I hope all the bad things every day happen to you. Explosive diarrhea,
Mm-hmm.
banging your toes on all the furniture, rolling your ankle at every bus stop. You know, like
Yep.
those things. I
Yep.
hope a bird
I hope you're
shits on your
miserable.
head everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
All
hope
those.
every night you fall asleep and close your eyes, you just see pictures of Mackenzie and what you did
Yeah.
to her.
Yep. I hope she haunts you because you deserve it.
Yep, bitch.
Stupid ass hoe.
Yep. Again, leave all the insults below.
Yeah, we need more.
We suck.
We do. Well, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and check us out on all of our other socials.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. Hit the bell to be notified of future uploads and keep looking around for our next video. Bye!
Bye!